Okay.
कौन सा बात?
Louise's. Okay, let's see. Okay, so good morning to some and good evening to others. My apologies. My apologies on us starting later. I'm letting Darren get in. Okay, Darren is getting in. So my apologies for starting later. Hey Darren, I don't know what happened, but I have a week to figure it out. So you're gonna see me like moving and clicking because there's still people trying to come in, and I am going to take this as a direct message from the universe that the universe wants me to behave differently than I planned on this call. So let's go for it. Today, we are talking about sacred geometry. We're talking about sacred geometry, and we're talking about manifestations. So I want to start off with like a personal story about me and how it has impacted me financially, physically, spiritually, at any particular point in time. Because as you see, we're a laid-back group. At any particular point in time, if you have any questions, if you need to see examples, I have all different types of crystals and different grids that I utilize too as well. So for me, I consider myself to be a student of spirituality. And I guess I should introduce myself. For anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Will Harris, and I'm really honored.
Hello.
Hi. I'm really honored to have all of you here. I consider you to be part of my family. If you have any questions at any particular point in time, please feel free to jump in. I am a business consultant by trade, humanitarian by choice, and I love doing research studies, applications on all things spiritual, with a particular focus on things that are applicable. So I'm not like an information junkie. I look at the stuff that we can apply. So all the things that I'm going to discuss with you today is put in a format, not just for knowledge, but knowledge that I thought you would be able to apply in your life as well. So here's my story around sacred geometry, as well as manifestations. And for any of you that's out there, when I finish with my story, I would love to hear yours. And we will be able to share as a group our collective knowledge on what's possible, and we'll grow together. So for me, my first interaction with try to have everyone mute. All right, it was Shito. Sorry, Shito, had to mute you. Okay, so my background was sacred geometry. I guess I'll define what it is and then my personal experience. Okay, so sacred geometry, and I'm going to share my screen here. And somebody is, there we go. Sacred geometry is something that has been around for a long, long time. In India, they had back then again. There you go. All Well, in sacred geometry, you may have seen certain things, crop, um, croppings, like when you see large steels and you see the imprint within that. For other places, oh, still getting some echo. There we go. Casey, do me a favor and just keep an eye out for where the echo comes from, so that way I don't have to juggle back and forth.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. So this is called Metatron's cube. This is my absolute favorite. You can also see it here. I have several different kinds of sacred geometry symbols as they go through. Anything that you see that's up here on the screen now, that is sacred geometry, okay? And you can use it to uncover many things. When you look at the way flowers are made, plants, but within the way the creator of everything made things, you can find sacred geometry throughout. And when I first started to learn about sacred geometry, oh my goodness, and that feedback again. So somebody has a two things open at the same time, like a iPad and laptop. That's what's probably called. Okay, so the way that the creator of it all put everything together and designed it, the way the creator put everything together and designed it is a tip to how you can build things, okay? So our ability to be able to build businesses, to develop books. I wrote Willpower Now, which was a #1 bestseller. And I based it on the number 3, which is the triangle. How to be successful at home, at work, and at the bank. I was able to look at anytime I was going to create something like the flower of life, which even down to, I don't know if you can see that, even down to some of the bottles that I have. I utilize that too as well. And when I was in India for the first time in a place called Kerala, I'm going to tell you my experience, and then feel free to have any questions you want to. And I'm going to be as open and as transparent as possible. I did an exercise using sacred geometry that within 24 hours caused me to make 100,000 US dollars. So I'm going to say that again because it was a little uncomfortable for me to even say it out. When I was in India for the first time, I used sacred geometry and manifestation, and I wanted to manifest. Manifest means create, to bring to you $100,000. And 24 hours after I did this exercise, I received a call from the USA, from a company called Verizon, that I was going to be awarded a new contract, okay, that I didn't know was coming my way. And it was for $100,000. That was like my first serious engagement with sacred geometry and manifest station. So what I did was I took this particular one, Metatron cube, and Metatron is a archangel, and the design, I guess I can bring that up so everyone will be able to see it. Metatron. He is known, yeah, there we go, great picture. He is known for being the keeper of what's called the Akashic records. In some religions, it's called the Book of Life. It's the history of anything and everything that has happened in humanity. Metatron was known to, or has been said, right, to have had an incarnation on Earth as a human being, and actually never, excuse me, never died. But in the Bible, it says that he walked with God. So in my research, I found out that he's also like the chief archangel around manifestations. So what I did was I took 2 sheets of paper, and on one sheet of paper, I wrote down everything that I thought I wasn't good enough at. So not tall enough, not enough money, not a good enough car. I just wrote everything I possibly could. And then when I finished writing, probably around 7-10 minutes, I couldn't think of anything else. So I took my pen, I'm right-handed, and I switched to the other hand and just started to write one word. Just because I knew switching hands will pull from the other side of my brain, from the subconscious. And when that happened, I was able to write even more. I did not care what it looked like, because it looked like I probably wrote it with my foot. Did not care about that. But when I did that, even more information came out. That was the first sheet. Second sheet of paper that I took, I wrote down everything that I ever regretted. Like, I regret talking back to a teacher in the 2nd grade. Whatever came in my mind, no matter how small, I just wrote it down on this paper, separate paper, and the same thing happened. Once I got to a particular point, switched hands, wrote out some more. Now, I have 2 sheets of paper. With these 2 sheets of paper, I took another sheet of paper and I wrote down $100,000. And I took a crystal. Okay. That was on, with the paper on top of it, on Metatron's cube. Okay. And I initiated this grid. I initiated. Like, imagine it's like a power source that you plug in. There's certain things you do to initiate it. Once I did that, I went into meditation, and I imagined that everything I put on that list, one by one, was on a piece of wood. And I put that wood into a chopper, and then I converted, because it's all in my mind's eye, my imagination, and then I converted it into being fertilizer and putting it on an abundance tree. An abundance tree. And then when I came out of meditation, before I did, I just imagined this, the Metatron cube, again, almost like a stamp. Next day, all right, I got that call. And when I was riding my bike, I saw and heard a wood chopper. You know how you grind up the wood? Which was the same thing I imagined in my mind when I went and manifested. That's my manifestation story. Now, I think it's important for me to point out that it's not like I just woke up one day and did this and then $100,000 fell from the sky. I had already been meditating for a year. Okay, so I think that enhanced things as well. And my belief structure was there, where $100,000 didn't seem impossible to me. But all of those scenarios put together, and then using this, that was my first interaction with sacred geometry and manifestation. Is there anyone else that has interacted with sacred geometry or manifesting and can share their experiences? Darren, I think you're looking for the mute button. Are you looking for the mute button? I see it in your eyes.
Okay. Hi.
He's like, where's the mute button?
I have a set of glassware from a company in Maine called Golden Ratio that restructures water, and they put sacred geometry symbols underneath the glassware to infuse it with its powers.
And it supposedly gives you a perfect water. So if you get water from wherever you get it, it turns it into a perfect water in about 3 minutes. Is that it?
Yes.
Right. So we've been drinking perfect water all our life for 10, 20 years. And look how young. The only other time was the Fountain of Youth in Florida, but they didn't have any geometry behind it.
That's awesome. And what you're talking about, I had the exact same thing. And exact same thing. And I had to lovingly fuss at my son because he was using it as a coaster disc and throwing it around. I'm like, that's my sacred geometry disc. It's like my dad is going crazy. But thanks for sharing that, Carrie.
Okay. Yeah.
Darren, were you going to say something?
Well, in relation to sacred geometry, my experience, one is as a school teacher. I taught geometry, and it relates to how the whole universe comes together, and it's fascinating. And for me, my own experience has been through meditations, and I get downloads of sacred geometry, and I don't understand them, yet I know that they are going into my box of my whatever that makes me who I am. And I think what you're talking about, when you take your intention like you did and initiate the grid, it's extremely powerful. And I heard you also say you believed you could make $100,000. And I think that's key to all of this. And, when you put that together, kapow.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I appreciate that. So one of the things that I put up to go a little bit deeper, and Chris, I'm going to ask you about your experience around any of this too in a second. So I'm coming your way, brother. Let's talk about crystals. And then we can talk about grids. And then we can talk about putting them both together. So a crystal, you have different types. This one is lapis. I love it. It's my favorite one. The color is blue. Can you see it? The color is blue, just like your throat chakra. Also, some people believe that the 10 Commandments were written on the back of it, the tablets. Being from the USA, I'm used to Charles Heston coming down the mountain with those gray tablets. And what is it, Mel Brooks? He said, I have the 10 commandments. You remember that, Chris? But supposedly, the 10 Commandments was actually written on lapis lazuli. Now, this is some things that may blow your mind. And when I was at the Monroe Institute with a group of people, there was one lady who actually was able to communicate with rocks. R-O-C-K-S, able to communicate with rocks. Crystals are alive. These rocks, these crystals, because of our level of communication as human beings, it's easy for us to sometimes look at objects as being not alive, but everything is energy. Einstein said everything is energy. So the crystals, the different crystals, depending on the kind you have, there are certain properties that each crystal has. So if you are looking for a physical healing, if you're looking for a particular emotional control, if you are looking to attract certain things to you, there are different crystals for everything. And there's also Google. So you don't have to like memorize everything. You can just Google what crystal is, boom, this, okay? And some vibrate or have an energy at a much higher vibration than others. You can use it when you meditate. When I meditate, depending on the crystal, I can put it over my third eye. When it comes to the grids, so what I'm going to talk about next, there's certain placements that you can put it on the grid too as well. Think of the crystals as antennas. You know how a radio, you have to have the antenna up. And when you want to listen to rock music, we may go to Z104.5, right, Chris? Go to Z104.5, and you listen to that. You may want to listen to classical music, and you move it to 97.3. Totally different energy, totally different frequency coming through. It is the exact same thing with crystals. And if this is new to you, it may seem like a stretch, but I'm only telling you things that I have personally experienced myself. Every time I give a speech, I have lapis lazuli on me, every single time. There's times when I'm traveling and I have a different kind to keep me protected. There are kinds that can relate to the laptop or technology and radiation to help protect you. There's a whole world out there. One of the books that I have is this particular one, Judy Hall. Super good. Okay. Now, I'm going to keep it real with you. This is like polished, well done. She probably has her master's in education. Okay. Then you got like a street cred guy. Okay. So this is like, I don't know if anybody understands it, but it's coming out anyway. This is bougie and this is ghetto. Okay. Bougie, ghetto. But this guy knows a whole lot too. But he doesn't, the inside isn't as polished. But he gives you the different crystals that you can use and lets you see how you activate stuff. So I really like that. This guy's name is Ethan Lasserine. The other one's Judy Hall. So crystals, they're alive. I know it's kind of out there, but they're alive. They have vibrations, and these vibrations can serve to attract things to you. It's important to be said, you don't have to get addicted on crystals. Eventually, your spiritual gifts should be able to evolve, wherein you're able to attract certain things without needing the crystals. There are wands that you can have too as well, that I use to activate the different grids. And there's all different types of wands. This one is more around energy. And I'm going to stop talking for a second so you can hear that there's something inside, and it's copper with crystal on the end. You guys can hear that? Okay. So this is more for the manipulation of energy. People are doing energy work. Okay. So that's crystals. You know my favorite crystal. And in my puja room, I probably have like 50. So you know how you have like a shot glass case and you have shot glasses in there? Well, I got a whole bunch of shot glasses and they all got evicted around 2012. They got evicted and the crystals moved in. Like, get out of here, shot glasses. So when I go in and meditate, depending on the type of meditation I'm doing that day or the type of grids I need to make, I switch up. Okay. So I'm going to move on and start talking about grids, unless someone has a question about crystals. And Akil, I saw you had your hand raised, but I don't know if that was on purpose or not. Yeah, you're muted. Go ahead, brother. You just unmute and ask a question.
No, he's not
Still
talking to
muted.
me.
Still muted. Hold on a second. You have to. We can't hear you.
Oh, you're talking to me?
No,
Talk.
not you, Jared. I was talking to out of here.
Yeah.
He's talking. There we go. You're unmuted now. Go for it. I still don't hear him. All right. Do you guys hear him? Is it just me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
audible?
guess you have to put down your speaker while speaking.
Put
Yeah,
down.
use the speaker. Yeah, he's not using the speaker.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, now better.
Yeah. So my question to you is that when you told about your own life story, you said about taking the crystal and you said you placed something over that. So what exactly was that? You said you placed something over the crystal to activate it. When you told about the story regarding the $1 lakh that you made. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll tell you what I do. I'll show you a live grid that's activated right now with everything that you said. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to grab it right now. This is a whole lot harder to move than I thought it would be. Aaron, don't you laugh at me.
Okay.
Okay. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I did this. I need to work at a pizza place. I can carry around pizzas now everywhere. All right.
Oh.
What we have is a different version of the Metatron cube. That's what this grid is. So when I'll try to lift this up and bring it here. When you look
Yes.
at it, it's a lot of intricacies, okay? So I used that book that I showed you. I used that book in order to figure out what position these had to be in,
Okay.
okay? And before I got started, I did a cleansing on everything. Now you can cleanse the crystals, you can cleanse the grid by using sound. So I have a bowl, a big one that I use. You can also use it with the symbols to clear it out. You can also use it with so
Okay.
that can clear it out too as well. And when I first get a crystal to kind of, I guess I'm trying to figure out a good analogy. But anyway, I want this crystal to know it belongs to me. What I do is I take the crystal in my hand and I put it like 2 inches away from my third eye, and I push my intentions onto the crystal. Okay.
Okay.
So I put that, and then I got that there. Or I have the ringing bowl, and I'm able to do that to clear out everything. Or I have, I was in Sikkim, and we bought some symbols that you can click, and that tune, that vibration clears out everything. I can light sage and fan the smoke around it to clear. You can do many different things. It's just like how someone drives a car. You can drive a car with 2 hands, you can drive a car with 1 hand. Hopefully you don't use no hands. There's so many different ways you can go. Now, the center one in this particular case, I don't know if that's seeable for you. It really looks like the Washington Monument for the guys who live in
Yeah, yeah, exactly like that. Yes.
So different shapes also do different things, okay? Different shapes do different things. And how you described it is a little different than what I said. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't put anything on top of it. I put the crystal on top of it.
Okay.
So I wrote my intention on this sheet of paper.
All right. Yes.
And then once I wrote my intention on this sheet of paper, and I folded up, and then I put it underneath this.
Okay.
In the center. You have it in the center. And if you can see over there, I have 3 grids that are active. One grid is active for my body. One grid is active for my wallet. One grid is active for my connection to God. And that's what this is.
Okay.
So what I have down on the intention, which really feels like a fortune cookie note now that I'm talking to you. I am connected and work my best from within God's will. I am divinity. I'm divinely connected to all. Okay? So for me this year, I wanted to I was just learning how to go from my will and what I want to being in alignment with the universe and God's will. So I may want to be a motivational speaker. That's my will. But God, I'll just say God may prefer for me to talk about Black Lives Matter. So instead of being a motivational speaker for a business or a company, I need to be a motivational speaker around Black Lives Matter. And now, okay, God's will and my will are aligned. That's not my purpose, though. That was just an example. That's not my life purpose. But that's the answer to your question. I didn't put anything on top of it.
But you put the crystal on top.
Cleared it out, and then I put the crystal on top of it with my intention. And then once it's set, okay, I then hold a visual picture in my mind of what I want to accomplish. And then I use my wand and point my wand at the center. I use my wand and I point it at the center. And then I trace it out going clockwise. Trace it out going clockwise. And if there's another row in, because one of my other ones has another row in, then I go there and come back. And then when I start again, I go to the outer edge and come back. And then for me, I close my eyes. I imagine like a mushroom cloud, like almost like an atomic bomb. But for me, it's a rainbow of energy. I imagine that rainbow of energy comes out the top. Now, and I definitely see some other questions that have popped up in here, and there's probably going to be some more after what I tell you next. I'll stop and see where the questions are. After you set your grid up, every day, after I meditate, I check out the power of the grid. I see if I feel any pushback when I put my hand over this. I see if there's any pushback. If there's no pushback, then that can mean one or two things. This energy sucks. It's not working. Or it could mean that this energy is so high up that I couldn't reach. Like you can't be down here if your energy is 6 feet up. So what I do is if I put my hand down here, I don't feel it, I go up, I don't feel it, I go up, and then I say in my mind, 6 feet up. And then I do it. And if I don't feel it at there, and many times I do, like here, I feel it. Like my hand off of it now.
Will you stop the share screen so we can see you better?
Yes. That's a
Then you
smart
can
idea.
see. I want to see your grid.
Thank you, Darren. See, that's all my friends are smart. Only hang out with smart people. So there you go. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Zoom, if you look at the 3 dots at the corner of my square, if you click on that, you can click pin video, and then that will make my video the biggest one out of everyone's, and you'll be able to see. Okay. So this particular grid, right? I put my hand over it, and maybe I'll do this exercise for you guys so you can understand like how it works.
Yes.
Our bodies even are energy. And if you warm up the palm of your hand, like the left one, by taking your thumb and you massage it, just waking it up. Don't hurt yourself. You just wake it up, okay? And then you go to the other side and you warm it up. You just warm up that middle central spot, okay? Then you take your hands, rub the palms together. Okay? You feel a little bit of heat. Then you take your hands out, and you're gonna try to go in just a little bit at a time so you feel a little pushback, almost like a magnet. Go real slow. Some people can feel it quicker than others. Don't get frustrated in this type of sense. Okay? But that pushback that you may feel, okay? That pushback is the same type of pushback I get when I'm looking at that. And if we were all together, fortunately we have social distancing, but not spiritual distancing. But if we were here, and if someone was having issues feeling it, like it's like really strong, I feel it really strong with me. What I do is I take my hands and put it on the outside of yours and have you push back, and then I move my hands away. Because a combination of both the energy and our pressures can help like open it up, especially if you never did it. But for those of you that are curious, you can do this all the time, right? You just warm it up, go like that, then you'll be able to see. And eventually, you can even blow it up. I don't know if you can see my hands. Blow it up, and you should feel an energy ball right there that can go. So that's what I do in terms of checking out the energy of my grid on a daily basis with my intentions. And I have to keep it dust free. I have to keep it dust free. So you want to wipe around it, okay? Make sure the dust is in there because that dust will block the energy. And that's how you can check on it as well.
I have a question.
There. Let's take any questions. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so how long this grid has to be kept? Like, do we have any set time?
Yes.
Anything?
Did you get your $100,000 yet? You keep it. Depending on your intention of what you put in there, you take it down when you think that you have gotten what you wanted. So I have had grids that were up for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Because I made, like I did a prayer for your father, Kiesi, when you told me that he was going in the hospital and we didn't know if he had cancer or not. So I did a grid, did a prayer, and after that was over, because I'm just pushing out energy. Then I was done. Manu's mom, when she first started getting sick, was in all that pain. I sent out some protection and clarity in mind for her. These, I love Atia because I haven't moved this in like 2 months. Okay, but it's still staying there.
And any
it's a connection to God.
Okay.
The other one is a connection to our overall business. And then the other one is a connection to my health. And I lost 17 pounds since April. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And do we have a specific time to do it, like, or any day or time, something?
Yeah, that's no limits when it comes to that. You can do it anytime you want.
Okay.
But you just have to make sure that certain things are done in the beginning. Like you want to clear out the energy.
Cleansing. Yeah.
Like,
Cleansing has to be.
I don't know if you all have this in India, but in USA we have yard sales. And now that I increase my spiritual knowledge, I don't want to buy somebody else's dirty spirits. Their dirty energy.
Okay.
So if you get something in these yard sales, just make sure you do some clearing on it, because you would be surprised the energy that still sticks around that comes in. But that was all great questions. There is the time limit. It's very intuitive. Jerry, yeah, feel free, man. Just unmute yourself and hop right in there.
Yeah, fast question. I'm really not into. We have crystals all over the house, and I'm getting interested in this from listening to you.
Okay.
So, is the power or the energy that comes out of your grid? Do they vary based upon, the sun, the moon, the universe? Can you, when they're more powerful, time of day, you know what I mean?
Yes. So that's a similar question to what Kiesia said.
Yeah.
Everything has an impact on everything, Jerry. Like, period. Everything has an impact on everything. But some things have a stronger impact. You want to make sure that your crystals have been cleared and cleaned, because they will get dirty. And when they get, and I don't mean dirty like dirt, I mean like the energy gets clouded, polluted, and then it breaks and it chips. Some crystals, they never get dirty. They never need cleansing. But I bought this big selenite. Don't pronounce it.
Selenite.
Thank you. And let's see if I can. Is it S-E-N there or S-E-N? There we go. S-E-L-N-I-T. I'm going to do it real quick and then
You're not sharing.
take it back off. So it's white, it's clear, and you're able to use that. You can put it beside other crystals, and then you will be able to clear it out. You also can use the chimes and the bowl. But
Okay.
that theory has a bigger impact on the effectiveness of your crystals. Also,
Well, does reball or white light help? Reballing, Bob Monroe's reball? Having the white light?
I'm trying to think of a way that you can use that. The reball is, the way I use it, is to be a protection around my entire body. And for those people who are not familiar with Monroe Institute, Parvin is asking about a meditation technique where you're able to have like an energy ball that can be around you, can be in your hands, you can shoot out love to it. Oh, I got it. You can use the energy ball, Parvin, to shoot energy into your grid. So sometimes when I go like this and this particular grid, I don't feel enough energy. Sometimes what I do, and this is a combination of pranic healing, is I have my left hand palms up, okay, like that, to receive energy. And then I have my right hand pointing towards the grid. So when I inhale, I'm imagining and I'm feeling tingle in my hand that I'm pulling in energy through this hand. And then I exhale energy out this hand into the grid, keeping my tongue on the roof of my mouth, because that is an activation that continues to flow. Having my tongue on the roof, like la la la, la, la. So even when I meditate, boom, it's almost like a plug-in, which is just right on the inside. Okay. So that's how I can imagine you using a reball. As well as, you don't have to use a reball. You can just inhale through one hand, send it out. For laying on hands, healings that you see, where people may be more Christian in their foundation, but they really don't understand the spirituality around that, it's pretty powerful when you basically serve as a medium, bringing in energy, having it come out. It's not you doing it, but you utilizing yourself to be this. That's why having your body in shape, eating the right foods, just like what I was saying to Jerry, everything matters. If I have clunky, dirty, no good energy, and I go around kicking cats and pushing women all day, well, when I try to go, it's gonna be like, ugh. I might make this grid even more dirty. So, it's a great question, partner. On the chat, did I miss anybody? Like, more questions? Yes, sir.
So I have a question. You talked about various kinds of crystals as well as how to use them. So which is the best place or source from where we can purchase these? Because we don't have these at home. So.
Okay. I thought you were going to ask me something else because I kept forgetting to bring that up. So just hold your question for 1 second.
Okay.
Because I'm old and I may forget. I probably need a crystal to help me with my memory. You cannot have your crystals in a junky area. It has to have energy, room to grow. So the 3 grids I had, let me tell you the mistake I made. Because I'm just not really that smart, all right? So let me just put that, I'm not really that smart. I'm just honest. So my puja room, I can't do a cartwheel in my puja room, my prayer room, my meditation room. I have like a cot that lays down. I lay down, throw on my headphones. I have my Monroe Hemi Sync. Got a blindfold where I can keep my eyes open, but it's dark, that type of mask, okay? And I put in this little closet these 3 grids. That energy was like, boom, boom. The energy was fighting itself until I read, like I said, the ghetto book, okay? And realized, like the nice, clean, professional lady, got the nice pictures, she got the nice, cute model. Okay, yeah, but this guy, the ghetto book, that's where I learned everything's energy, so you can't have energy on top of energy.
Yeah.
Like having an extension cord and you plug 50 things in, the Christmas tree lights, it's just, it's fighting each other. So Jerry and Jane, which I can't believe, that is so cool. I'm gonna tell my wife she gotta change her name. I want some of that like Jerry and Jane stuff. Wilma. She's got to be Wilma. Lauren! I don't think it's gonna work. But when Jerry was telling me, I know I'm crazy Jane. When Jerry was telling me that you guys have crystals all over the house, one thought was, is this energy fighting itself? Is it energy all over the place? But if it's not in a grid, it's like the difference between the energy from the sun and then a magnifying glass with the sunlight going through it, and then bzzz, now you have a laser when it's focused. So these grids are like laser. So I think if you just have the crystals around, yeah, that's not gonna do anything. But I think when you start pushing it together to build something, it's like a plant. Yeah, that's it. A plant. Yeah, that's my analogy I want. It's like a plant being too many plants in the same pot. It's not room to grow. It needs its own room. So just be careful when you do these grids where you put it, because for 2 months, I won't get nothing. Now I'm a manifesting king without these grids. And when I first started doing the grids, I'm like, man, this sucks. I ain't getting nothing. What is going on? Nothing. I mean, nothing. And every day my wife be like, anything happen there, honey? Like, no. And then I read the ghetto book and realize, oh, I gotta move it. Because anybody that knows me, I'm an extreme type guy. So if I got one grid, I'm gonna have like 20. If I get 20 grids, then I can change the whole universe and whole world. I'm like, no, stupid. Your house ain't big enough for 20. You get 3 max in my office. So when you brought that up, I kept forgetting to tell everyone to make sure you give ample room for growth. So energy is going to grow. You got to make sure you clean the dust around it too, because that makes a difference. I messed that up too, because I didn't know. Again, ghetto book. Can't judge a book by its cover. I didn't know that you have to clean the space around it. So, and even the room, like if this is the room that no, a room that you cuss in all the time, or you beat people up. This is your beat up people room. You don't want your crystals in that room. You want to make sure. So that again comes to what I was telling Jerry. Everything is energy. Everything has an impact on it. Last one, and then I'm going to shut up because I still haven't answered your question yet, Anya. When you make these grids, you're creating a vortex. It's going to be one you can't be able to see, but it will be one that will be definitely felt the longer you have your grids up. So we're all about the light and positivity, but there are people out there that are about the dark, and they can make grids too. And their grids are like, hurt this person or block this person. Well, that's the place where they have this stuff in their house. That room sucks. You ever walked in a place and you feel the energy?
Negativity. Yeah.
Up in here. It's going to create a vortex. All right. So you want to make sure you have a particular spot where you keep it, just like you should have a particular spot where you meditate every day. Not just popping around meditating everywhere, but a dedicated space that's sacred for certain things. Okay, now I'm going to shut up. What was the question that you had?
Yeah. So what I was asking is that where do we get these crystals and grids from?
Oh my God, Amazon.
Okay.
That's easy. Amazon. You get everything on Amazon. Are you married, Adia?
No.
Okay, you're not going to get a wife on Amazon. So almost everything on Amazon. I got this crystal in Delhi, in Gurgaon. There was a mall, and it was a mall, like right by the airport. It was a mall, and this lady had a shop. I went in, and she had the most awesome stuff. This I got on Amazon because one of the things I found out, I'll try to hold this up, is that the different shapes of the crystals are for different purposes.
Okay.
Can you see?
Yes. Crystals.
So, like this one, that is something you want in the center of your grid because it points energy up. Okay. This one, in bigger, can be useful because it's shooting out energy in multiple directions. That's like the baby step, I can tell you, right?
Yes. I can see it, 11th number. Yes.
Yeah. Like even certain things like arrowhead and crystal is the best. And this is really gonna freak you out. It's kind of cool though. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, I like buying crystals because it is the chameleon. That's the word I'm looking for. It's like a chameleon crystal. You can program this sucker to be lapis lapis. You can program crystals. Like the clear quartz, you can program it to be another crystal. So when you see this, it's like a cookbook. Like a recipe, cookbook. And you're like, oh man, dang it. I don't got no jade. But I got a crystal. I got a quartz. crystal, and you program it for that. Also, some crystals are similar. So even though you don't have the exact science, like this one I have set up in my puja room, pretty basic sacred geometry. It's a triangle, right? And you see the numbers, it tells you where to put the crystals. So I can't really see it. I'm just going off of memory now. Certain numbers should be the same. And that means those are the same crystals. It's telling you where to place it on this grid, okay? And then you may not have a particular number.
Okay.
This is the ghetto ball.
Yes, yes, I can see. Central stone clear quartz.
He's giving you alternatives. So this says garnet, 3 garnets, right? But if you don't have a garnet, then you can get a red tiger's eye. Now that this has been introduced to you, you will be surprised how many crystal shops you see. Because you're gonna start seeing them now, like, oh, I thought that was just a glass shop. And you can Google. I know that India's on lockdown right now, but yeah, you can definitely, for the people in the USA, you can do that. Before the lockdown, there's a spiritual shop in the mall, Parvin, over by where you live.
Oh yeah.
They love me. They love me.
Oh yeah, in Vienna.
They love me.
Vienna, Virginia.
So I go over there.
Well,
Bye-bye. Yes, ma'am.
I want to recommend one of the fun parts with crystals is when you're looking for one, even if it's online, is connecting with them. So whether I talk to them, but use your intuition, because some crystals are more excited to work with you than other crystals, and it's a fun part of finding them.
Great comment. Did everybody understand what Darren said? Extremely important. Trust your heart. Trust your heart.
Oh yes.
Trust your heart. Like anytime you have a doubt, like pick it up and see how you feel. You may get a box of crystals, and they're all the same crystal, and you say, okay, I'm just gonna grab one and go. No, see if it resonates with you. Hold it in your hand. See if you feel the energy. There are even some that are out there, I don't want to scare nobody, that are fake. Like one is real, real, real rare. I can't even remember the name of it, even though I have 3 of them in my office. It's like Moldavite. Moldavite, something like that. That sucker is expensive because it's a limited amount on Earth of it. I'm trying to type it out. It's a limited amount on Earth because it came to Earth, and there we go. Boom! It came to Earth from a meteor. So this is what it looks like, but people can fake it. It's called Moldavite.
Oh no.
This is the Mac Daddy, of manifestation crystals. Now, I would never ever say that one crystal is the best crystal, but this is kind of close. But it's super duper expensive, and too many people get ripped off because they buy one that's not real. And that's why it's important for you to feel it. If you see Moldavite and it costs, I don't know, $50 for an itty bitty piece, you may say, oh, but it costs $5 for the same itty bitty piece over here. You get what you pay for. Like you wouldn't want to buy a house if they say, hey, I got a great house for you. All it costs is $20. All 3 floors. You're like, huh? So when it comes to Moldavite, you got to do your research. And this is super duper high energy. So high energy that a lot of people can't work with it. If you have messed up thoughts, it's going to attract those things to you. Seriously, don't play around with Moldavite until your mind is right. Oh my goodness, that rhymes. I might have to get that copyrighted. But crystals too, Jerry, you'll like this. you can just keep them in your pocket. You can have them as a necklace, or you can just keep them on yourself, because I deal with some traditional corporate people where I got to be like this. Yes, hello, Bob, and this is what we're doing today. And I don't want them seeing this big ass ball. Like, why you got that ball on your table? We ain't gonna give you no more money. You're a weird ball guy. Man, this ball. So I'm able to keep it in my pocket because everything's energetic, just around you, even your environment. So, that's one thing you want to look at, Jerry. If you got crystals around, make sure it's crystals promoting the right energy. You may go in one room and you notice that all the arguments I have with my wife, all are in like the dining room. And then by the time we get to the kitchen, I think we're going to have another baby. So just make sure you look at what crystals you have around. If you got colorology too, that will work in your favor or against you. We cover that. Okay.
So other than feeling the energy and finding out whether it is fake or real, do we have any other tricks to find out whether it is real or not? Like the crystal should be clear, or it should not have cracks inside, something like that.
Everyone is going to be different. Like this one is going to be different than, say, jade, because this one is like lava. Because when it came down to earth, it was like hot. So those ripples are there. But there are characteristics, and all you do, because Ben, I don't know, but I don't know like the names and all the details except for like my super duper favorite ones. But that's what Google is for. So all you have to do is Google what are the characteristics for this. See, this person's really telling you. All the
When the mask starts sweating. Yeah, me too.
share my screen.
I'm not able to breathe.
You're able to see, can you tell the difference between fake spots? So everything's gonna be different. So it's not like all crystals need to have 2 black dots. If you don't have 2 black dots, that's not a real crystal. Each one is different and has different properties. But you also have crystal experts, like you have diamond experts. Like, I don't know if you guys have this in India, but we have cubic zirconia, which is the ghetto diamond ring.
Yes.
Except for anybody that has a cubic zirconia on this call, then you have
Zirconium.
humble apologies. But you can get with a crystal expert and they will be able to tell you. And many times, because I don't know, I'm a genius in some areas and an absolute idiot in another. And I always lose the descriptions of certain things. Like, I know this is pyrite, fool's gold. And I know that this particular crystal, pyrite, is man-made, okay? Man-made. Some crystals are man-made, not like naturally made. And I feel a certain way about them. I don't know, it seems like bootleg to me. I don't want no bootleg crystal. Knockoffs. Hey, this ain't Coach, this is Boach. Okay, cool.
I have a question. I have crystals all over my condo, the rooms. Once in a while, I actually rinse it. I feel like it's dust.
Okay. Wiping
What do you say to that?
Wiping the dust off is good. I would say don't use water. Okay? Don't use water. And it's more important that you have that wand, that crystal to clear off. And when you clear off energy, you want to make sure you have a door open, a window open. You don't close up everything and then like do sage, like, you be like, and the energy's still there. You just broke it up. Like cracking up ice, but the ice is staying right there. It's not going anywhere.
No water.
Yeah, you don't need water. No. What you need, you can wipe it off because it shouldn't be dusty. But what you really need is that crystal that I showed you. It just serves as a wand. It's like you just waving the energy away. You can also have that bowl that I told you about to clear it too as well. Because crystals have an expiration date. You can, however, you can get energy from it by having it in the sun. That's one thing you can do. That's a great question. Okay. Anybody else? Faraday, you want to talk about your experience with crystals or grids? Anybody else too?
Actually, thank you so much, Will, for this informative presentation. I am familiar with crystals very little. I enjoy seeing them, but I don't have the knowledge to understand them. But I do remember when I was in Arkansas, there were stores filled with amazing, beautiful crystals. But I do know that, as you said, everything is energy, and crystals have their own unique energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was mostly listening and learning. I'm very, very basic at this knowledge. I don't know much.
Okay. So I have a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you let me gift you something?
Okay.
So I am going to gift you a crystal.
Okay.
And I'm going to mail it to you. So you have to give me your address, but don't worry about it. You can trust me. I'm not a stalker.
Oh, I know that.
I'm going to mail you a crystal. So you,
Okay.
one that I think is going to resonate with you, so that
Okay.
you're able to just feel the energy and just be with it. And it'd be like your starter gift, because I have a whole lot of respect for you.
Thank you.
And I think that when you start doing this, that it's going to become so quick for you to pick up. It's impossible, Faraday, and I'm going to talk like past life. It's impossible for you to be as spiritually smart as I know you are and not have crystal work, alchemy, somewhere in your past life. You absolutely have it. So some things spiritually, when we introduce to, you're not learning it, you're remembering it. So when you remember it, it happens so quickly. Like, that's when people say, oh my God, have you done this before? It could be something else. Like you went roller skating. And people are like, oh my, you're the best first time roller skater ever. Well, you're not learning it, you're remembering it. Your cells are remembering it. When you start holding crystals and paying attention to it, you feel that they're talking to you or calling to you, or you feel some enhancement. Don't think it's going to take you long. And
Thank
for
you.
you're welcome. For everyone, I'm going to give you, so just shoot me an email, okay, with your address. And I'm going to mail you, I'm going to mail you a motorbike. I have like 4.
Okay.
No, I'll mail you. But for everybody, I'll give you an example of something that happened with me. And then I think we may end, because I have no clue how long we've been talking.
It's really enjoyable.
Okay, cool. I'm very, very happy for that. I 2 years ago did improv comedy. I took a class on business improv because I'm a corporate trainer, a little bit of funny. And I figured, okay, this would be kind of cool. They're going to teach me how, in a business setting, to make things more light. That absolutely wasn't what improv was. Improv, the art of improv comedy, is having no filter. So the funniest people, they're not thinking up stuff, they're letting it flow. Like, I have no filter, okay? So that's why if I make you laugh, it's because I never second guess it. But when I did improv comedy, something snapped. It was like a little push, like a breadstick, right? There's some give, but then boom, it's easily snapped. When I did that, my psychic abilities increased. I became super duper funny too, by the way. But also my psychic abilities increase, because most of us have that ability. Everybody on this webinar has that ability, or you wouldn't be on this webinar. But when we stop second guessing ourselves and just let information flow from the universe and channel it through you as a medium without second guessing, boom, that's the magic. So when I did that improv comedy, it really took the veil off and showed me I have been a psychic for many, many lifetimes. It's not like this one time or some huge thing happened overnight. It's just that the dam broke. And I think that when you get your hand on a crystal, Faraday, that dam's going to break for you.
I totally understood what you just said. And it has been a while that I do know that everything that is possible to imagine or even not imagine, it's out there. It's me who is blocking it.
Yeah. It's us in our way. Just like that 2 sheets of paper I told you about. Both sheets of paper were lies. They were lies. Because I'm perfect. You're perfect. Now we have what we will call imperfection marks, or things that I wish I could do this better. But you're perfect in the sense that you have those imperfections in order for you to have the perfect life. You were born with this body. You were born with this personality. You were born with this intellectual ability. In order for you to have the problems that you have, to have the successes that you have, so your overall life purpose will be fixed. The same thing for these crystal grids and the crystals that you get. You're able to have a physical manifestation, because anything that we see here, this isn't really reality. The spirit world is. So when you build something in your mind, and then you have like a transformer that kind of pulls from the spirit world to shoot it out, that's when manifestation happens a lot quicker. The deeper I go into meditation, like Monroe and focus 27, as opposed to focus 10, well, I'm manifesting and building and focus 27.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who are not familiar, it just means, okay, I'm like this, and then you get, I'm like this. Spiritual. When I'm like this, and I'm creating, things happen a whole lot faster. Whole lot faster. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go around. Kathy, I know you're there. I love you. Thank you. I'm surprised you're not tired of hearing me talk, because I had 3 speeches today, guys, and Kathy heard 2 of them. So thank you. If anybody has anything, Chris, you have any questions, any comments?
I want to let everybody know that I don't know what's going to happen with COVID-19, but there's rock and mineral shows. One is at George Mason University. It's always in November, the middle of November. And the other one is in Gaithersburg at the fairgrounds. It's usually in March.
That's where I live.
And they are put on by geologists. So it's a great place to buy things, because they have things from all over, and they're generally a lot cheaper than going to the stores that sell them for metaphysical properties and healing. So some things you can find really cheap. Some things are getting more expensive. It depends on like the availability of things. It's interesting to see how things, like a couple of years ago, some crystals might be very expensive, and then like tourmaline was really expensive, and now that it's more plentiful, it was cheaper. So it's a nice place to go and find things. And there's a lot of things to discover there. So I hope they have them again.
It's not the address.
So just look it up, Northern Virginia Rock and Mineral.
I want to check it out.
And
I live in Gaithersburg, and I didn't know about that.
And then I think the Maryland Rock and Crystal group. I have emails. I can send it to you.
Okay. Thank you. I just Googled it, but when you were talking, it totally made sense. They have the Northern Virginia Mineral Club popped up, and you know how you can see the raw version, because some are polished. Well, that's something someone didn't ask me. Like, what's the difference between polished and unpolished? Like this is polished. This is what you use. It's an incantation to get Archangel Raphael help you out. So, this is polished. Okay? So the polished ones, as opposed to the raw, I like the raw when I am doing crystal grids. I like the polish when I'm holding it in my hand, if I'm gonna put it on over my third eye, okay? Because I ain't trying to get all ashy and scratched up, because my wife won't like that. So you're gonna have to start this crystal thing. But when I am looking at the grid, this is matte polish. See the imperfection? Like Kiesu was like asking on the spots and stuff. Oh, cool. Chris, you want to say something? And then
I just had a couple questions. What was the name of that book again that you were using that you liked so much?
Okay, yeah, Crystal Grid Power.
Okay.
And the guy's name.
Ethan Lazzarini. Okay.
Yeah, really, really, really good.
All right,
And
cool.
this, he has a free download on his website.
Okay.
Okay.
So you can have your own grids. Because I started out and I bought like paper. Like he has all of these and then some more. So
actually, I was gonna say I actually ordered one when I saw this coming out because I've kind of been getting into crystals. I have them in my meditation room, but I haven't used the grid, which seems very interesting. Seems like the next step for me at where I'm at with crystals. So I was very interested in this. Something I am going to incorporate and use. One other question for you is you do a tremendous amount of meditation on a regular basis. You know, with what I'm experiencing in the hospital and draining my energy on a regular basis, how do you keep yourself, I guess, high energy in those situations and times? And how do you stay, you know, and stay with that manifestation when you're not seeing results? And how do you keep yourself going sometimes?
Okay. So I'm going to give you an analogy. And for those of you guys who don't understand, Chris is like a professional hero. He's working in the hospital. So he is being exposed to COVID-19 and
Stop.
basically got it. He got COVID-19 and survived. So he put his life in risk. He actually caught COVID. So Willpower Warriors that are on the line, this is the gentleman that all my information comes from. I'm not listening to the news. I'm listening to a guy who got COVID-19 and works with people in the hospital setting. So what you do, Chris, is we get you the crystals that are going to help to protect you in a certain way. And you have necklaces that you can wear with it. You can put it in your pocket. It's like whatever way of you carrying these, they're going to vibe with you. And think of it like gloves. If you put gloves on, right, it's only going to protect you for so much, and it's only going to last so long. If you have gloves on and you keep them on for a week, eventually you're going to have holes in them. It's the same thing with crystals. The same laws apply with the spiritual world as it does with the physical world. So we need to look and make sure you're having the right crystal. This is for your throat chakra, right? This is for your throat chakra. This is for speaking. This isn't for a shield. And just because something is pretty, it doesn't mean that it's protecting. So this is what's more of a protector, okay? So we need to look at the type of crystals you have. Also make sure you're cleaning them. especially in your situation, right? Just like you have to wash your hands a whole lot. Well, just imagine your crystal being like a power source. Like this speaker, like it lights up, but after a while, the battery's gonna die on it. You're going around covered exposure. So it's like, your crystal's like, God, I need some lotion. So we just need to make sure that we get you selenite, which is a cleaning crystal, and you just lay it on the table beside it, and they're clear. Think of it like a cell phone getting charged up. Oh, that's a great question. Okay. Anybody else?
As if when people are beginning, like I am a beginner, I would, if I start with using crystals, then obviously I would be one who will be having a very new kind of experience. So, sir, for a beginner, what will you suggest? Where should we start from? Should we start with one crystal and then go on to a grid, or how should we start? Like,
Man, I would just hug you. Corona or not, I'll still hug you. You've been asking great questions this whole time. So I'll tell you the path that I went. Because I didn't start off with these grids and books and stuff like that. And I was like considering myself like a Christian up until 2012. Now, whatever I am, I just wouldn't group it as being one group of anything. But I started off having a crystal. Just having a crystal that had an impact on the most important part of my life, professionally, which is speaking. That's lapis lazuli, okay? So there's gonna be something you do. You may be a writer, right? Or you may be an actor. This is an actor stone too as well. You may be into fitness and working out. Pick one and just keep that with you and start to resonate with the energy and just learn to take care of your crystals. You get one, take care of that one. You get 5, take care of those 5. And then what's going to happen is you're going to start collecting even more crystals to meditate with. That's what happened with me. I went from just having it, put it in my pocket, going to a speech, okay, to meditating with them. And when I meditate with them, then I started to explore and say, different shapes mean different things. And then after that, for my manifestation, I started doing grids, which is more powerful. It's like the difference between yelling out the window, hey, and texting God. Yeah, I like that. It's the difference between yelling out the window and then just texting the universe what you want. So, man, you got to come on all my webinars from now on, business ones too. You're a professional.
Yes, I'd love to. I'd love to be a part of it. I would love to come.
Professional question asker. Casey, write that down. We're going to have to write a job description. Do you ask a lot of questions? All right, so you wrap this up for me, Casey, because I know you'll let me know like what you understand, what you didn't understand, so I get it. And I know everybody, you have like a doctorate degree in spirituality, and then you have, hey, I'm just taking baby steps. You guys talking about rocks are alive. You made $100,000. I like that. How do we just jump to the $100,000 part? So what are your thoughts, Casey, on how this went?
Yes, the session was really worth. We got to learn about the grades because I knew few things about the crystal, but yes, the things like we have to cleanse it first and then we have to use it. So I think the baby step for like everybody who is a starter, we should meditate first and then we should start with the crystal. That's what I think. So I'm thinking to get on to the meditation more and then start with the crystal, that as you said, we can start with one particular thing like in which we want to explore in, whether it could be speaking or whatever talent you have. If we have to explore that particular talent, we have to start with one crystal. So I do have one crystal. If you remember, Bhaiya, you have given one a white crystal to everybody. which gradually turned into yellow now. And I thought like, but you said that while meditating, you can just keep it in your hand and just meditate on it. So like, how to do with that?
Okay, so we need to clear that stone. That's like you washing with the same soap for 20 years. You're still
Okay.
dirty, girl. No, need some new soap. So we
Yeah.
need to clear it, and it'll be okay. Or the energy may have been drained so much that now I have to
Uh-huh.
get you another one. And you probably know that. You probably just said that, so I have to buy you another one because you're jealous it's gonna get buried in one. That's what it is.
Oh yes, and yes, one more thing is that we do like today. Everybody might have learned like everything has an energy, even that is the crystal that is like nothing but a rock.
Mm.
So through rock also, if we believe, everything will be happen.
Yeah.
So
You're
yes,
Catholic.
that's
You're Catholic, right? So in the
yes.
Bible, Jesus said if you had the faith of a seed, you'd be able to move mountains. You'll
Yes,
be able
yes.
to move mountains because you will talk to the mountain and say, please move. So we always
Exactly.
hear about miracles with Krishna, with Jesus, with Buddha. And
Yeah.
from being a little kid at 9, I just want to know how. How? Jesus said,
Yeah.
this I do, you can do and more. What I heard was, I can be bigger than Jesus. How? So
Wow.
that's why having groups like this, where we can share each other's experience and learn, that's how.
Yeah.
So, okay. So Parvin, your thoughts? And then if nobody else, we can just.
I would like to tell a
No,
small.
no, it's good.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Parvin.
I would like to tell a story, sir. Like
Sure.
when you started with this session, you told about rocks also having life, like energy in them. So my father, a few days back, he recounted to me an incident. Like he also had one dream. He's an avid rock collector because he loves to collect different kinds of rocks and decorate the home with rocks. So we have a lot of rocks on our home. So once what happened was he in his dream in sleep when he was sleeping in his dream he saw that there was a rock. There was a particular rock and it was placed in a certain place. Like there's a place called Hazaribagh. So he saw that while he was going there on road, and he saw that rock exactly at a particular place, and the rock was as if calling him to come and take it from there. So this is a very strange kind of a dream that he had. But then what happened was that 2 or 3 days after, he went to Hazaribagh because he goes there for his work. And on his way, he exactly found that same place. When he was looking out of the window, he saw, and he was reminded of that dream, and he saw that exact place. So what he did was he told his driver to park the car there for a few minutes, and then he got down, and then he actually found that rock there. And he picked it up and he brought it back. So he was telling me about this, that then he started to believe that rocks too have life in them. Like they also have energies which can connect with us. This is one incident which I found resonating with yours, which you said.
And think about it, man. In your dream, you have no filter. It's not
Yeah.
in your like, hey, that's not allowed in dreams. So awesome. Thanks for sharing that story. Okay, everybody. I am going to bring it to an end because my wife called me because they are going into DC because I guess the protests and everything. People are people. And it's all about loving each other. And I think that as long as we keep talking and having that positive light, light kills darkness. Darkness doesn't kill darkness. So I love you all. And we're going to do it every Sunday. There'll be a different topic. I just had 5 speeches in 2 days. I have 2 more tomorrow. So I haven't had a chance to upload, but the next topic would be like my humble apologies for the link. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. Well, actually, I'm not going to figure it out. Kiesya works for me. Kiesya, can you figure that out for me?
You were late because you were talking very much.
No, I'm talking about the link. The link.
Okay, link. Okay. Yeah, sure. I'll do that.
All right.
Okay. Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you so
for
much.
wonderful session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It was very enjoyable.
Bye, Ronnie. Bye, Kathy.
Bye, bye, sir.
Thank
See you
you.
tomorrow.
Bye.
Nadia, I'll see you tomorrow.
Everybody, bye,
See you,
Parker.
sir.
Gary, I love you. Love you too, Jane.
Thank you. Look forward to next week. Be safe at the protests.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I will. Appreciate that blessing.